Pulled a few records out of the new bin. First up, Flower Power Sitar. It's a beautiful album cover. I mean, this is the kind of thing I'd put in a frame and hang on the wall. Very nice. There's not a lot of information on it. It's from a budget label, Pickwick. Generic back cover, has nothing to do with the album. There's no credits. There's no information about who played on the album. So like I said, Pickwick's a budget label. There was probably this came out in '67, probably some cigar chomping executive sat behind a desk and said, give me a sitar record to cash in on the psychedelic craze and the George Harrison sitar craze. And exploitation records like this were common at the time. Producers would throw a bunch of musicians together, slap a name on the band, and cash in on whatever trend they wanted to cash in on. The sitar player, who I assume Rajput, this is Rajput and the Sipe Mutiny. Apparently somebody was eating the brown acid when they named this record. I'm assuming he's the sitar player, and it sounds like he just picked up the sitar for the first time. It sounds like a rock guitar player who's just kind of plunking out the medley on an electric sitar. And for the right low price, though, this album can give your collection quirky charm. You know, the whole genre, exploitation genre of sitars and Indian music being brought into Western pop back in the late 60s, there are some winners out there. First up, Vinnie Bell, who is not an Indian sitar player, looks like a white guy. 2 albums. This came out in '67. Yeah, '67, Pop Goes Electric Sitar, and '69, Good Morning Starshine. Both excellent. He was a session player. He played with Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan. He also played sitar on Cry Like a Baby by the Box Tops and Green Tambourine by the Lemon Pipers. So, and both these records are available on Discogs, not that expensive, highly recommended. And you know, when you're looking up a session guy and you're wondering, I probably have a lot of records that he played on. One that popped up, 1973 live Tito Puente concert, Vinnie Bell on guitar. I'll be checking that out later. Another one, this is probably a much more popular one, Ananda Shankar. This has been in and out of a lot of best of lists of Exotica and records you need to hear. He's the nephew of Ravi Shankar. Self-titled 1970 album. He made his way in the late 60s to LA, where he signed with Reprise Records and released this. It's a combination of Indian classical music with pop hits of the time. Light My Fire's on here, Jumpin' Jack Flash. This is a great record. Lord Sitar. This was a Record Store Day release in 2015, if I'm not correct. The guy was Big Jim Sullivan, not an Indian sitar player, a British session guy, guitar player, played with the Rolling Stones on some of their albums, Dusty Springfield. But he also had, his resume is very interesting. He played on Wonderwall, George Harrison's first solo album, which was mostly Indian music, and a soundtrack to an obscure film. Clockwork Orange soundtrack he played on. Serge Gainsbourg's History of Melody Nelson, getting more and more impressive. And he's also on Frank Zappa, 200 Motels. So this is another worthwhile sitar exploitation record worth checking out. Oh, this one's great. The Folksingers Raga Rock. This is basically an Indian sitar player, Haro Rao, who plays sitar. And he was an LA-based Indian classical musician, and he's being backed by the LA session musicians known as the Wrecking Crew. This is a really fun album, and it's mostly radio-friendly hits from the time. Paint It Black by the Stones, 8 Miles High by the Byrds, Along Comes Mary, Time Won't Let Me, Shape of Things, Hey Joe, You Get the Point. Highly recommended. And finally, oh, this is a blast. I just found this in the wild and looked it up and figured it out later. Oko Sitar and Electronics. It's from 1971. It's basically sitar, tabla, and moog. How fantastic is that? He's a Dutch player who has worked with and played with Brian Eno, Mobius from Cluster, Coney Plank, who was a legendary producer of many krautrock records. And it's funky, jazzy, Indian, electronic exotica is the best way I could describe this. Another highly recommended. Look for it online. Not expensive. That's it for the Indian portion of the video. Rose Tattoo. This is a hard rock album. It's kind of punk rock. It's blues rock. It's hard boogie rock. It's from 1978. 2 guitar players in this band, and 1 guy plays slide. And if you're thinking, wow, this is kind of an obscure hard rock record, not really. The song Nice Boys on the album was covered by Guns N' Roses on their live EP from 1986. Axl and Izzy Stradlin, both big fans of this album. And also, Nice Boys was covered on a group, Nashville Blank, and they put it on their 1998 EP, Eat More Blank. And also, Rock and Roll Outlaw was covered by the metal band Keel and LA Guns. So, not that obscure of a choice. Some people know about it. It's a monster of a hard rock record. Check it out. And finally, electronic Aucatere. I never knew how to pronounce this, even in the 90s when they were out on Warp. Warp is a great electronic music label. This album came out in 1995. It's experimental ambient techno from Manchester, England. And it's electronic music. It's IDM, which is intelligent dance music. Ambient, chaotic noise, densely layered electronics. It's a Warp electronic ambient techno record and a lot of fun. I like these late at night. It's a chill out record before I go to bed. That's it.